What's up chaps, I'm MagicalMike and I'm here to tell you about how much I love the new feature patch. So I logged in and checked out all the new stuff. I went on my Nord and the camera was really high up and I couldn't see my character properly when I zoomed in. I quite like how the focus is now on looking at the environment instead of the skins that I worked for, but just to make sure that the camera position had definitely changed, I checked out my Sylvari and my Char. My Char was the same too. I could hardly see any of the character models, but my Sylvari and my humans filled the frame. It was quite strange and I'm not sure if I like being able to see the detailed characters that I worked hard on. I'm not sure. So I looked past the new camera changes and checked out some of the new leveling systems. Upon loading an old Char in the tutorial, I was met with a few changes. Firstly, I'd already unlocked 3 skills previously, but it turns out that you unlock these skills at different levels. You unlock skill 2 at level 2 and skill 3 at level 4. Just to go through the levels real quick, you get skills at level 7, 10, 13, 24, 35 and you get your elite at level 40 now. And I love this change, it's probably the best one. I found it way too confusing at the speed with which you used to unlock skills. So now that they're so vastly spread out, I can enjoy using a small skill set for longer and avoid that massive confusion of how that new skill affects my overall build. For example, unlocking Barrage on the longbow changes the gameplay massively and could take several levels to get used to. I also found that the elite skill was something you'd really want available to you as soon as possible, so making us wait 10 more levels to get access to them really keeps the gameplay fresh. Speaking of keeping the gameplay fresh, you unlock a lot of things as you level now. You'll see me playing the tutorial here and it turns out that since you don't unlock the down state until level 5, you simply can't be killed in this instance anymore. I think it's an amazing way to teach new players what to do when they go down. They could have had a cumbersome, boring system where they unleash a devastating boss attack on you and down you, leading into some kind of simple tutorial system, but I think that would have just been too confusing. So they just lock it out and have you figure it out later. Until then though, stuff outside the tutorial will just kill you instead of downing you, saving you the time and effort of having a fighting chance. If you do ever get downed though, you'll also need to unlock the skills there too. At level 16 and 19 you'll unlock skills 2 and 3 in the down state. I know it's very confusing to read tooltips and it's a massive pain to allow people access to read them in the weapon skill UI, so I completely understand this change. I think it's better to just lock the skills completely and to use them as progression rewards instead, in case players hurt themselves while overthinking it. Luckily, it turns out that you can just dance and everything dies in the tutorial instances now, which is pretty great. As a ranger, I didn't even need to control my pet because I hadn't unlocked my profession F skills yet, further allowing me the control that I needed with my character. Hell, I wasn't even able to name my pet yet, which is a relief because I'm terrible at naming things. I mean, look at me, I'm named MagicalMike, come on. The pressure of having that option right away might have been just too heavy for me to handle. So after I defeated Duke Baradin through the medium of interpretive dance, I wandered into the plains of Ashford. I noticed a lot of things while I was exploring there and in the Black Citadel, so let's go through that list. First off, I noticed that map completion objectives weren't visible on the map anymore, or on loading screens, or, well, anywhere. Not only that, but vistas and skill points were also missing. Completely. And this is pretty good, because I really disliked how cluttered and confusing those diverse map markers were. It was just too much info to take in all at once. I take a look at the nearest skill point though, just to see if I could try it anyway, and it didn't let me at all. Which is pretty cool. After all, why have all these skill points in early areas when you can't use them to unlock anything yet anyway, right? Funnily enough though, vistas would still let me interact with them, which is quite strange. I'm not sure people could normally figure that sort of thing out without prior knowledge and expertise. I suppose this is just a bonus for knowing how to play so well though. I noticed that there were no gathering nodes in the low level areas too. Try as I might, I couldn't find a single thing to gather before about level 7. And I really approve of them removing this feature in the low levels. People just don't need any of those materials so soon. You can't possibly expect us to figure out how to use them or sell them. There was also a distinct lack of bundle items lying around all over the place. I even heard of some hungry cows in Queensdale that you can entertain, with the idea that dancing will help them forget about their dietary requirements. Apparently, they removed all enemies at low levels that require you to dodge as well, and there's a ton of little changes like this that really show off the many systems that Guild Wars 2 used to have. So as I moved on and looked around, I wondered where I should head next. Luckily there's a handy directional pointer on the UI now that showed me the way. I was informed by this thing to go and check out the new challenges that awaited me in DS Plateau, so I wandered in that direction. After all, the game was giving me a tutorial, right? I was just following instructions. For some reason, everything in the area could kill me instantly, and I was somewhat confused about how this could be, but no matter, I was on a new character after all, and I was underpowered. The arrow was now also telling me that I had to go somewhere else, so I blindly followed it because I didn't know any better. Heading to Wayfarer Foothills, I'll make mention of a few other things that I locked now. Your offhand weapon unlocks at level 7 to keep players from losing their mind with the game's complexity too quickly. Your weapon swap unlocks at level 15 because it would be insane to have access to 10 skills so soon. Underwater skills unlock at levels 8, 14, 17 and 23. ArenaNet made the most interesting part of the game's combat all that much more satisfying with this change. The final things to mention are the locked UI panels. You don't get access to the wardrobe, outfits, dyes or mini-pets until level 6. Now I know that new players looking at the wardrobe for the first time would have already unlocked about 112 new skins that could be confusing, so it's probably best not to let them have to deal with that level of customization just yet. Similarly with dyes, a new player's stockpile of dye colours is going to be, well, it's gonna be extensive. Allowing players to be able to choose colours from such a large starting pool could be overwhelming, whereas veteran players who have even more dyes that they worked so hard to collect should be thankful that they aren't forced to choose from fluff, fog, flame or frost dye yet. So when I got to Wayfarer, after the hardships of DS Plateau, I hit level 3, I unlocked a sweet leather bag, and somewhere along the road I unlocked skill 2 on the longbow too. And then the arrow on the compass was pointing me back to DSO, which was odd because I did just come from there, so instead I ignored it for a few minutes and checked out Wayfarer while the GPS recalculated itself. After a couple of minutes my face lit up when it informed me that there was a place nearby called Frostgorge Sound, which sounded great. You think I'm making this stuff up, but no, really, there is another place that they're encouraging me to check out already. Can you believe this? This game is expansive, it's huge, man. So I went in, and the place seemed really cool, but all the enemies there seemed really powerful, and these Minotaurs chased me for quite a while. I wondered why the compass thing had told me to go here so soon, and after I shot a Dolyak and it obliterated me with a single headbutt, I figured that I was either in the wrong place somehow, I'm not sure how that would have happened, or I just need to get good. And, well, trusting in the only thing that I should be listening to so far, the game's ability to teach me through this tutorial, I figured that it can't be the game's fault and that I just need to get good and learn to play. So ends my first impressions on the September feature pack. What do you guys think? I'm interested to hear what other people's opinions are. You've already heard mine, so thanks for watching and I will see you guys next time.